Did you know that the majority of women today are drawn to certain types of men? Charming, outgoing, and always in the spotlight? But there's a small, elusive group of men who, despite possessing traits many would consider ideal, somehow rub modern women the wrong way. These are the Sigma males. They're the lone wolves, the men who walk their own path, indifferent to societal norms and expectations. And guess what? About 97% of modern women can't stand them. But why? Why do so many women find Sigma males frustrating, challenging, and almost impossible to deal with? Is it jealousy, fear, or simply a misunderstanding? By the end of this video, you'll understand the deep psychological reasons behind this phenomenon, and you might see both Sigma males and modern women in a completely new way. Let's uncover why Sigma males are often considered the modern woman's worst nightmare. Reason 1. Independence that threatens control. Sigma males are intensely, unshakably independent. Their sense of self isn't borrowed, influenced, or shaped by anyone. Not by society, not by friends, and certainly not by romantic partners. And this is where the friction begins. Many modern women are accustomed to having a certain level of emotional influence in relationships. Not manipulation, just influence. They expect their partner to be responsive to their moods, shaped by their presence, and motivated by their approval. But trying to influence a Sigma male feels like trying to grab smoke. No matter how tightly you close your hand, nothing stays. Picture this. A woman meets a man who is calm, unfazed, and internally complete. He doesn't orbit around her. He doesn't put her on a pedestal. He doesn't become emotionally dependent on her reactions to feel whole. For a woman who is used to being the emotional center of a relationship, this is deeply confusing, almost threatening. She might ask herself, why isn't he affected by my silence? Why doesn't he chase when I pull away? Why does he seem perfectly fine without me? His emotional independence disrupts the relationship dynamic she's familiar with. And when someone can't be controlled, can't be pressured, can't be emotionally manipulated, it triggers a sense of powerlessness. And powerlessness is one of the most uncomfortable feelings a person can experience. There's a saying, you can't control someone who doesn't need anything from you. Sigma males embody that truth. Not because they're cold or detached, but because they don't need external validation to feel secure. In a world where emotional dependence is often mistaken for love, a Sigma's self-sufficiency feels alien, even dangerous. Because a man who doesn't rely on anyone is a man who can walk away at any moment. And that is what makes him intimidating. A Sigma male's independence isn't just a trait. It's a psychological power that many people aren't prepared to handle. Reason 2. The enigma of emotional detachment. Most people wear their emotions like a badge, openly, visibly, and sometimes even excessively. Joy, frustration, excitement, disappointment. They broadcast it all, expecting the world to respond in kind. Emotional transparency is assumed, almost demanded. Sigma males, however, are a completely different breed. They are emotionally detached, but not because they lack depth or feeling. In fact, they often experience emotions more intensely than most, but they don't feel the need to announce them, to parade them for approval or validation. This creates a profound sense of mystery. A Sigma male is like an ocean beneath a calm surface. Vast, deep, and largely hidden. Most people, and especially modern women accustomed to emotional openness, find this fascinating, yet deeply frustrating. It's the feeling of staring at a locked door, knowing incredible things lie behind it but having no key. Consider this scenario. A woman wants to connect. She shares her feelings, her worries, even her dreams, expecting reciprocity. She anticipates empathy, reflection, a mirrored vulnerability. But the Sigma male listens, truly listens, but remains composed, calm, and seemingly distant. His response is measured, minimal, almost imperceptible. This emotional privacy is often misread. She might interpret it as coldness, indifference, or even rejection. In reality, he feels deeply, but he feels it privately, internally. The emotional investment is not absent. It's simply reserved for the rare few who reach the inner circle of his trust. The consequence? Emotional investment from her feels one-sided. She may feel anxious, uncertain, even frustrated, because her expectations of emotional mirroring clash with his natural tendency towards self-contained reflection. This is why Sigma males are simultaneously magnetic and maddening. The very thing that makes them intriguing, their ability to experience emotions without broadcasting them, also triggers insecurity in those who equate transparency with love. In essence, a Sigma male is an emotional fortress, impenetrable to shallow observation, yet rich and alive for those willing to approach patiently, without demanding entry. This detachment isn't a flaw, it's a defining strength. It protects him from unnecessary drama, shallow attachments, and the exhausting need for constant validation, while preserving his inner peace and clarity. Reason 3. The unyielding confidence. Confidence is universally attractive, but Sigma males carry a completely different kind of confidence. It's not the flashy, attention-seeking kind that demands validation from others. It's quiet, steady, and deeply internal. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't need applause, recognition, or constant reassurance. It exists independently of the world's approval. This is the Sigma male's superpower. He doesn't have to be the loudest voice in the room to be noticed. His presence alone commands attention, not because he insists on it, but because he radiates a sense of self-assurance that can't be faked. You feel it before he even speaks. People naturally lean in, consciously or subconsciously, drawn to someone who is fully comfortable in their own skin. For modern women, this can be both thrilling and intimidating. They are accustomed to men who respond to compliments, cues, or social expectations. Men whose confidence is often conditional on others' reactions. The Sigma male is the opposite. His confidence is self-contained. He is unmoved by judgment, unfazed by praise, and unshakable in the face of scrutiny. Picture a dinner party where everyone is trying to impress, laughing loudly, vying for attention. In one corner, there's a man who says very little, observes quietly, and seems entirely content being alone. He doesn't compete for status or approval. Yet paradoxically, he stands out the most. His calm, measured presence radiates authority without words. He doesn't prove anything to anyone, and that is exactly what makes him magnetic. However, this same quiet confidence can be threatening. People often misinterpret it. His calmness may be seen as arrogance. His independence mistaken for aloofness. His refusal to play social games may be interpreted as a lack of interest. In a culture that equates loudness, boastfulness, or overcompensation with strength, the Sigma male is misunderstood. His confidence is like a still lake, deep, powerful, and reflective. If you try to disturb it, you won't create waves easily. It simply absorbs and returns nothing unnecessary. This unyielding internal strength is what allows Sigma males to move through life without fear, without compromise, and without needing external validation, a rarity in a world obsessed with superficial markers of confidence. In short, the Sigma male's confidence isn't seen, it's felt, and that feeling can be profoundly attractive, yet deeply intimidating for those who aren't used to it. Reason 4. The rejection of traditional roles. Sigma males don't fit neatly into the traditional molds of relationships, and they have no desire to. They aren't interested in being the stereotypical boyfriend, the predictable partner, or the husband that society expects. They reject the scripts that millions of people follow without question, choosing instead to carve their own path. This isn't rebellion for the sake of it, it's authenticity. To many modern women, this can feel like a direct challenge. They've grown up with a certain blueprint for relationships. The boyfriend who attends every social function, the partner who constantly seeks approval, the man who conforms to expectations and routines. A Sigma male doesn't just bend these rules, he quietly ignores them. Imagine a woman entering a relationship with a Sigma male. She expects him to play by the traditional script. Meet her friends, participate in couple trips, follow the usual social checklists, plan the predictable future. But instead, he moves at his own rhythm. He doesn't see obligations in social norms the way others do. If he attends, it's because he chooses to, not because he feels pressured. If he plans, it's according to his vision, not societal expectations. This unpredictability can be unsettling. For someone used to structure and predictability, being with a Sigma male is like driving on a road without a map. You never know what's coming next, and that lack of control can trigger insecurity. The Sigma male's refusal to fit into expected roles is impersonal. It's simply the way he operates. He values freedom, authenticity, and self-direction over conformity and social approval. Many people misunderstand this freedom as indifference or emotional distance. But in reality, it's a reflection of his self-reliance and inner clarity. He doesn't need external validation to define his actions, relationships, or lifestyle. He is guided by his own principles, not by societal pressures. As Nietzsche famously said, "Those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music." Sigma males hear their own music. They live by a rhythm others often cannot perceive, and because of this, not everyone can relate to them, or even attempt to understand them. For those committed to rigid social expectations, it's far easier to dislike a Sigma male than to truly engage with the logic behind his choices. Ultimately, the rejection of traditional roles is not a flaw, it's a hallmark of Sigma independence, a declaration that life and relationships are to be navigated on one's own terms, rather than society's. Reason 5. The fear of the unconventional. Perhaps the most powerful reason modern women dislike Sigma males is rooted in a single, primal emotion. Fear. Fear of the unconventional. Fear of the unpredictable. Fear of the uncontrollable. Sigma males do not fit neatly into society's categories. They refuse to follow the herd. They do not seek approval or validation from anyone, and they have no interest in conforming to predefined roles or expectations. Their lives, their relationships, their choices, everything is guided by their own principles, not by social norms. This independence, while magnetic to some, is deeply unsettling to those who crave predictability. In a world built on routine, comparison, and social scripts, the Sigma male is a wild card. He defies expectations. He cannot be anticipated, controlled, or boxed into a neat category. His presence disrupts comfort zones and challenges the familiar. For many modern women, and people in general, it's easier to label such a man as difficult, unapproachable, or undesirable than to confront the discomfort he brings. His refusal to conform forces others to face a mirror. Their own need for control, their own dependency on predictability, and their own insecurities. The truth is, dislike of Sigma males often has less to do with him and more to do with the insecurities of those around him. It's always easier to hate what we do not understand than to grapple with the fact that someone exists entirely outside our expectations. Imagine encountering someone who refuses to play the same social games everyone else does, who doesn't bend under pressure, and whose confidence and independence remain unshaken regardless of judgment. For those who live by rules, scripts, and social cues, such a man is disconcerting. He threatens the illusion of control they rely on. In essence, Sigma males inspire fear because they are uncontainable. They live life on their own terms, and that is a radical concept in a world obsessed with labels, conformity, and predictability. To understand a Sigma male requires courage, introspection, and an openness to uncertainty, qualities that many are unwilling or unprepared to cultivate. It's not that Sigma males are unlikable. It's that they are unpredictable forces of independence, and independence, when it cannot be controlled or tamed, is intimidating. Conclusion. So why do 97% of modern women struggle with, or even dislike, Sigma males? The answer isn't that Sigma males are unlikable. Far from it. The truth is far more profound. They challenge the deeply ingrained norms of society, the invisible scripts and expectations that most people unconsciously follow. Sigma males are different. They embody qualities that are rare, misunderstood, and often unsettling in a world built on conformity. Independence. They don't rely on anyone for validation, approval, or direction. Their sense of self is complete, unshakable, and internally governed. Emotional detachment. They experience feelings deeply but choose when and with whom to share them. They are not slaves to emotional expression or social expectation. Unyielding confidence. Their self-assurance doesn't shout, it resonates quietly, deeply, and unconditionally. They don't seek attention, yet their presence is impossible to ignore. Rejection of traditional roles. They do not play by the script society hands out. They create their own rules, navigating relationships and life on their own terms. A fearless, unconventional approach to life. They embrace unpredictability, challenge norms, and refuse to conform. They are, in every sense, wild cards in a world obsessed with order and predictability. These traits are not flaws, they are strengths. But in a society conditioned to value control, predictability, and conformity, such strengths can feel threatening. And herein lies the truth. Perhaps it isn't hate at all. Maybe what people feel is fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of the uncontrollable. Fear of the man who refuses to fit into neatly labeled boxes. Sigma males walk a path that few dare to tread. They live by their own rules, guided by their own internal compass, and that combination of freedom and unpredictability makes them both fascinating and feared. They are the men who cannot be pinned down, predicted, or tamed, and that is what makes them extraordinary. So the next time you encounter a Sigma male, remember, his quiet strength, his independence, and his refusal to conform are not signs of arrogance. They are the hallmarks of a man who has mastered himself in a way few ever will. If you found this video thought-provoking and want to dive deeper into the hidden world of Sigma males, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Sigma males are simply misunderstood? Or is there more to their story? See you in the next video.